Rahubat, greetings. 1 minute. Hey, Rahubat, greetings. Hope all are well. It is a good day today. Let me say, great day today. Welcome to the Actual Facts Podcast. I hope I'm being heard. Let me know if I'm clear. Thank you all for joining and tuning in. This is the first podcast episode of the year, episode 10. And today we have some very important information that obviously we want to share with the world. There's a countdown that's taking place, as you all can see. I hope you all been paying attention to the world, the situation that's going on the planet, the behaviors of the human race, species around the world, the various wars and rumors of wars. As you can see, there's a lot of destruction, a lot of chaos, as anticipated. Um, someone comes in. So today, I think we'll address why these things are happening. It's important for us to understand or overstand that we are in the last days and times, and because of that, this year specifically, 2026, you're going to see a lot of turmoil. You're going to see a lot of rebellion. You're going to see a lot of uh, governments that are losing control over the people. You're going to find that the people are now disrespecting the authorities around the world, as you can see with the various societies that are turning on the leadership. We all know the events that just happened with Venezuela, Iran, the war in Ukraine, the war that's about to take place with Taiwan, North and South Korea, Japan, the Asian world is rising up. The West is in total chaos. The economy is turning over. The debt is, operating in the what you call the red, right? There's economic destruction taking place. There's much to talk about. And these days and times, you might want to, you don't know if you want to be happy that you've been blessed to see the end of the devil's rule, or sad because a lot of people will not be able to survive what's about to protect the planet with the ecosystem changing, the destruction of natural foods, the destruction of the water supplies, the destruction of the ozone, the atmosphere being polluted. And it's just the day and time that we're in. A lot of our ancestors, most of our ancestors spoke about this day and time. A lot of your great grandparents and grandparents spoke about this day and time. So we're living in it. We're blessed to have amongst us a spiritual guide, a teacher, a master amongst us, who we refer to affectionately as His Excellency, Dr. Malachi Z. York, the Father, the Heavenly Father in flesh, the being who has incarnated to teach and raise the 144,000 to prepare them for this day. He's taught since 1967, actually 57, uh, to prepare the minds of those that were stuck in religious doctrine, to prepare them for the age of the hereafter doctrine, which we are in, and which we teach on these actual facts. My name is Dr. Duswa York, for those that are just tuning in. And this has been very much successful, these actual facts. I appreciate everyone who has came in and subscribed. Also, those that have reached out for the publications, which we'll go over as normal. As normal, right? We we do touch on for to prepare for this lecture, the dimensional shift, right? Humanoid transformation. The transformation of humanoids is apparent. You have a group that are going to moving in the area of animals, beast-like mentality, where all they think about is violence, hate, slander, negativity, right? Uh, Gossip. This is the mentality. And they're stuck in that circle or mental, let's say, wave or record of just continuously perpetrating this negative mentality, this poisonous mentality. Then you have those that are reaching for an ascension, that are trying to come up out of this negative mind that has basically calloused the world and society. So Rahobat, all of my elders, Rahobat, Elder Yao, appreciate you tuning in. Rahobat, everyone, and appreciate you all. Someone asked a few questions. We'll save the questions for the end, close to the end, or we can take questions in between time. But for the most part, um, this this dimensional link or this dimensional shift is, I hope you all are noticing it, and you are preparing for your dimensional shift. And what is meant by that? Well, what is meant by dimensional shift is there are dimensions that obviously we are in a three-dimensional world for the most part, what you see with your senses, for what most people can basically register in layman's term. What you see around you is a three-part dimension, right? Height, length, right? Width, right? You see that. You see person, place, or thing. You see one, two, three, A, B, C. Everything is basically in a three dimension. You're moving into a fourth dimension in this conscious arising or conscious ascension, where this outformation that you are supposed to have for those that are worthy of it is supposed to transform you in this day and time. And this transformation takes place not in just a in its physical manifestation. The Father has taught us in several publications that we'll touch on, right, where he addresses what this dimensional shift is, how it ties into quantum physics, what takes place on a cellular level, right? How your conscious mind, your oversoul, your spirit, and your mind has to move into a new threshold in order for you to encompass this new world that all worlds are moving into. And this all ties into the previous episodes that we discussed and we talked about when we talked about the cycles of time, the calendars, and the shifts of the various cosmological clocks and the age of Aquarius or Fatah that we're in. So it ties in. But because this is science based and it has a lot of detailed information, I have to take my time with this. So it's not going to be a rushed episode, because quantum physics has to be introduced and basic fundamental science on who your entire makeup should be overstood in order for us to kind of digest exactly what the Father is teaching us in this particular book here. This one is the dimensional shift, which predominantly we'll cover. We'll also cover the secret tones and the Mafkuzet elixir of life. This one here we'll cover. This is a master secret number 5. You see that. Also, we're going to cover the black dot, the helix, mind link, and mind linked. This is also a master secret. This is number 2. And then also the ultimate reality. This is also incredible, right? The master secrets, number 12. So as we move forward, with there's others as well. Stargate, vibrational frequency, tone, sounds, DNA, molecules, which is actual fact, number 18. Now, the Father, our president and chief in flesh, right? This our spiritual guide, Panabab Yanun, for those that are familiar, has written over 1,500 books. And going, when you digest these publications, and I advise everyone to reach out if you would like any of these publications. I'll show you how to get them and to follow along and kind of move forward as we go through each of these publications in each episode. Now, when you address dimensions, a dimension is where we live. It's the realm by which you can calculate the measurements of your existence of a particular point in space, a point in time in space. And this world, this dimension, based the scientific definition of dimension, I'll just give it to you so you can be clear anytime you hear the word, is to physics, to mathematicians, to scientists. The dimension of a mathematical space or object, right, is defined as the minimum number of coordinates needed to specify any point within it. Each dimension circular band has a specific rate of particle pulsation. That's the atoms within a dimension. It has pulsation, vibrational rate that can be detected and within that dimension. And therefore, this is how scientists or astrophysicists, or let's say quantum physicists, address, calculate the space area and give certain measurements for atoms and waves and other manifestations that kind of give a clarity on where and what we're doing within this universal space on this particular planet. And it gets into a molecular level, atomic level, and even beyond the atomic level, going into the other side of hydrogen, which is the etheric world. So dimensions has to be identified. Not all dimensions are material. So that's why it's important to understand what a dimension is, because typically most people are under the impression that dimension is basically material matter, and it's not always the case. But for the layman's term, a dimension has circular band, has a specific rate of particle pulsation and a specific angular particle spin rotation as the human circulatory system. Each race vibrates on their own rate of ether. Okay, so what that means is this. Within this space and time, it can be calculated and measured by height, distance, rate, vibration, electromagnetic spectrum, which is very limited to human beings. And I'll try to keep this in a way where it's not too scientifically approached with definitions are ungrasped. Sometimes quantum physics, when you explain it, it can be at the not necessarily comprehensible at the time. You have to go back over and over and study it. So for the introduction of quantum physics, for those that are being introduced to it for the first time, quantum physics is beyond the atom, right? That we know the atom is neutrons, protons, the smallest particle of any element, right? And so quantum physics basically goes into the wave area of pre-material matter or pre-manifestation of the physical world, which they have quantum computers and quantum instruments that can detect wave particles, right? That are not necessarily material, but not necessarily energy either. Energy and material in the same combination. In other words, quantums are packets or pockets of energy that are not weighable. So they're typically undetectable unless you use a specific instrument that can detect a wave that's not yet become material. So what they say, quantum physicists say, that scientists say that a atom, before it becomes material, it exists as a wave. And in its existence as a wave, right, as energy, at some point it becomes physical. And this is where, in our doctrine in Wu Sabat, our father has written to explain how energy or waves or ether becomes material. All scientists, all quantum explanations, they have this what you call a uncertainty. It's literally, they call it an uncertainty principle, named after a scientist by the name of Heisenberg, who calls it an uncertainty principle. And this uncertainty principle is how to detect the atom, where it is in the universe, how it exists in the universe, how do you measure it, and in reference to its wave that it emits when it's being detected. But because it's so small and the movement is such at a high speed, they can't pinpoint exactly where an atom is. So it's called uncertainty because based on the wave of the atom, the amplitude of the atom, and the wave's length or the function of the wave, they have these calculations to try to detect where the atom is at a specific point in the universe, which is very difficult because of its movement. So they have these calculations that go into these formulas that try to pinpoint where the wave is. But obviously, in this principle of uncertainty, the instruments of the Caucasoid and his scientists have not reached to the point where they can pinpoint it to the exact like to the exact moment. This is where an atom is. They can't do that. They can't say this is exactly where it is because by the time they address and find out this is where it has moved. And it could have moved throughout the universe at some point at a distant space. And that's why the father, he mentioned this in Mind Link, because what he explains there is how these waves of atoms, once they are interchangeable with each other, like you say, for instance, you're in a room and you have these multiple amounts of waves throughout this, wherever room you're in. You have microwaves, you have radio waves, you have gamma rays, you have television waves, all cellular waves, right? And because of that, all of these waves are interfering with each other and they're moving at the speed of light. And because of that, in that these waves connecting, they can become let's say, linked together throughout the universe. So scientists now are saying that this is how you can be at two places at one time, which is another conversation. But for the basic of quantum physics is, and the base principle is this, that an atom is a wave and it's a particle. They don't know how to define it as either or. They can't say it's only a wave and they can't say it's only a particle. What does this mean? It means that because you are waves and you are particles, you consist of the same substance that is within the universe. And you're a part of a huge matrix that is infinite. The best word you can use, because there is no detection or end to this infinite matrix that the entire universe grows within. Right. Now, this dimension that you're in as of currently is moving into another dimension that is undetectable by the human beings on this planet. It's only known to beings who come from other star systems. And that's why this advanced information or outformation has always been only been able to be introduced by beings coming from higher worlds that can explain this outformation in a way that's comprehensible to human beings, and yet allows you to prepare for how to engage within this transformation. No human being on the planet can explain it. This is why science always have these questions and always have a uncertainty about the conclusions they come up with, and they're always doing experiments to try to find out the keys or the gateways to the universes, or the secrets or mysteries to the universes. Now, fortunately, we've been discussed, is that we have His Excellency Panabab Yanun, the Father, the Heavenly Father in flesh, that as a being with 76 trillion years of knowledge, he's able to explain the secrets of the universe. And this is why you do have these publications called the Master's Secrets, because within them he unfolds or discloses this long lost knowledge that only those who are prepared to ascend can embark upon. Now, what happens is, with the transformation of the races, right? Now, you do have your various races, your Dravidians, you have the Nagorno, the Black African race, you have the Asian race, you have the Chinese, you have your Caucasoid, you have the red race, and the sub races in between these root races. And within these root races, there was a plan for human beings to transform into this new abode or new world within the new age. Everything evolves over a period of time. And as evolution takes place and revolution takes place, you move into higher worlds. You're not supposed to be stuck in a specific phase of existence without learning the mysteries of the universe by ascending. And the ascension comes from you being able to embrace, right, this new conscious that has to merge with this planet Earth that you're on. This planet Earth that you're on, every planet is connected, particularly this one I'm speaking of, and other planets are connected to higher worlds adjacent or parallel to this universe. And it's done not by chance, but it's done by design, because the morphogenetic field, that's the conscious field that you are tapped into. All human beings are tapped into this morphogenetic conscious field that allows you to think, allows you to grow, allows you to experience. As you experience as much as you can within this world, you have to experience other worlds if you're chosen, if your conscious is ready and has opened up enough to embrace it. The problem is the religious doctrine of the world has calloused the minds of our people to the point where you're not able to enter this threshold because you're based in a belief system that's unconfirmable and doesn't explore the scientific aspect or the scientific area of affirmation that you are involved, that you can embrace. Now, let me know if there's anyone in the chat that becomes disrespectful, because we don't tolerate that. But welcome all that are tuning in. So what happens is this new morphogenetic field that this new world is this world is moving in. You know, this world is moving in this direction because there's a high amount of technology that is being introduced into the planet. And you have to be able to adjust to the possibility or probability of experience other beings that are, what some religious people call angels, some people call Elohim, some people call extraterrestrials, depending on what name suits you well. We, in our doctrine, Wusabat, know them as extraterrestrial beings with a high intelligence that has incarnated on the planet, and their job is to advance human beings to be able to experience that. That's why the term many are called, but few are chosen. Many of you will be called to this outformation to expand and explore. Your mind will open up, and others won't be able to do so. And this is the term where they say, well, you will be left behind. Some people will be left behind mentally. The shift already took place. The dimensional shift, mental shift took place on December 21st, 2012. And that shift was a mental transformation where you were to be able to see the matrix and how the design of the planet is laid out, how the various races have controlled others, the creation of these races and the creation of your race, your ancestors that have been that are in your blood, that have reached out to you, to connect with you, to contact you, to guide you. Whether you ignored it or not, that's your choice. But you should have been able to transform, because the affirmation that the Heavenly Father has given us within these publications should have opened you up enough and has freed your mind enough where you should be prepared for it. If you didn't make it, then I'm not saying you can't, but when you look at where we are in 2026, you see a lot of human beings have been shifted to this animal-like regression, where they can't get out of the negative circular band that their genetics has created as a record player, where you have a record that skips, you have a scratch in your disc or a scratch in a record, and you play a record and it constantly skips. This is the mind and conscious of certain individuals, where the only thing they know is the things they've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. You don't expect or hear anything new from them. Only thing you would expect or hear is the same negativity, the same slander, the same gossip, the same behaviors that animals, not even animals, some animals are not as destructive to their own species as human beings. So those people have been left behind. And there's a line being drawn out where those that are listening, that know that you are supposed to make it, You have to grasp this outformation, this transformative doctrine. So what the Father has explained in this dimensional shift is that, one, because each planet, yours, back to that, a link to other planets, in order for a planet to move into this new dimension, right? He says that this morphogenetic field particles, this new, let's say heaven, because what you know is in the heavens is this new dimension or this new world that you want to embrace. In order to attract this energy, attract this heavenly abode, to attract these heavenly beings, right? These Riskians or Razak, right? Razaku, these are our ancestors from the abode or race from where our father is from, the green one, El Khidr al Melchizedek. In order to embrace this morphogenetic field, right? Each planet has to move into it a specific dimension in order for the energy, this planet to grasp the energy. And this planet is now moving into that. This is why the evil one is being wiped off of the planet. But they're being wiped off. They'll wipe themselves off. They're destroying themselves. They'll destroy themselves through war. They'll destroy themselves through economic fallout. They'll destroy themselves through disease. They'll destroy themselves because they can't even procreate the way that they used to procreate. The childbirth rate is falling, right, has fallen very low. So over the next 5 to 10 years, really right now, from now to the next 3 years, you'll see that the evil seed on the planet will totally dissipate. So where will you be in that destruction of the evil seed and their genetics? Where will you be? Well, you have to be able to transform into this new abode and this new threshold, but your mind has to be cleansed of the old world. The old world is the world that's going out, and you see it. This year will be it's gonna speed up in its destruction. It's gonna be a speed up in its cleansing. It's gonna speed up in the transformation of the planet. So what's in real time? Exactly. So what's taking place is that once this world, this planet, right, the Father mentions in this dimensional shift, it has to attract this morphogenetic field of these other worlds. Your mind has to shift and be able to expand. And at each, there's a frequency pattern that you have to link to, meaning that you already are vibrating at a certain sound, are vibrating at a certain frequency. There's a frequency there as well. You have to tune your frequency, which is a natural frequency of F, A, and C. These are notes that your body, which is A, natural nature, which is C, vibrates. Natural nature vibrates on the note C. Your body vibrates on the note A, and the planet vibrates on the note F. You have to be in total harmony with nature, your body, and the planet. And that frequency that you're on with the planet will be able to attract this new morphogenetic field. So you'll be able to think in the realm of these ancestral beings, these Riskian and these Nathar, our Nathar, Ennead, and Ogdoad, which will address right as we move forward, these 8 and 9 deities, a group of 8 and a group of 9, which are your overlords, your ancestors that are related to you by blood, that are in tune with your DNA. This planet, you as Nagardanadu Africans have to be able to attract by the way that you think, the positive mind that you have, and the chanting and the prayers to them that you must embrace in order for them to save you from the destruction. Now, it's very difficult to sift through this planet to find these particular beings because society has made you feel as though in order to survive, you have to follow the school of fish and follow the way that this society has designed their people to go. You have to get a job. You have to go to school and get a college education. You have to work for them. You have to be a part of their system in order for you to make it. That has already programmed you to depend on their system, an evil system, a fallen system, in order to survive. And that's not the case. What you have to do is cleanse yourself of their world, cleanse yourself of their mind, cleanse yourself of their doctrine in order for you. And once you cleanse yourself, you'll be in tune with your deities, and then they can guide you into the direction. So you will be at a specific place, a specific point and time in this day and time in order for you to be saved. That is what you call salvation. It's not about sitting around praying and waiting for something to happen for you to be taken up. It doesn't work that way. You have to do the work, and doing the work is cleansing yourself inside out. You have to eliminate all of the crap that you've put in, cleanse your cellular, your skin, cleanse your respiratory system, cleanse your circulatory system, cleanse your lymphatic system. All of your systems have to be cleansed. So this, once you do that, which will take some months, maybe years for some individuals, depending on the traumas, then you will be able to embrace these beings. You'll be able to embrace this new dimension. And once that shift takes place, your frequency will merge with that in a quantum manner. What do you mean by quantum manner? What is a quantum effect? Well, it's simple as this. A wave that what you are, energy, as energy waves, or as frequency that you are actually vibrating at a specific megahertz. You have a certain tone that your body hums at. Babies, when they're born, they have this hum in their bodies, and you'll see it when they cry or they coo. This is the natural humming sound of that started with the creation of the universe, right? The Om sound. Now, once that frequency has dominated your being and you're in a total state of peace where you're void of the distractions of the world, you'll be able to tune into that frequency that can be transmitted from across the universe. And that's what true prayer is. True prayer is once you make that frequency connection, like you do, like we talked about in episode 4, where you dial in and you tap into the frequency from the heavenly abode. Once you lock in and you stay there, then you'll hear the voices, you'll hear your guidance. It sounds strange to some because you're like, some people are like, oh, that doesn't make sense. It will make sense once it happens. You are tuning in. You may get inclinations. You may hear the voice. It happens when you're about to do something that you're not supposed to do, or a voice comes to save you, say, make a left, turn right, go this way. Don't deal with this woman. Don't go into this bar. Don't go to this place. You hear inclinations of it or small signals of the voices, and then you'll turn it off because you're involved with things in the world that's distracting you and keeping the frequency off. The same way someone hits a knob on a radio station and it goes to another station, then you have to tune back in. You have to literally fight to get back on that station. This is what takes place with this transformation. Once you lock in and your body is in tune, then the frequencies can merge. The same way when you're on the cellular phone and you have to dial a specific number, you merge with a specific frequency and you pick up the signal. With a television station, you merge with a specific television station or cable station or a certain network, and that network, once it locks in as a battery or a conductor, which your body is, as a conductor, you're able to transmit the light outformation to this apparatus or to this instrument. Well, your body works the same way with the sun. When the sun gives you these certain rays or energy, which is actually DNA code barcodes. Look at the electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum has barcodes within the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, which is why you're able to see specific colors, is because the DNA of the barcode of the color is a registered frequency that your your eye sees, and it's able to detect. The same way you scan a barcode, that scan, it reads a specific image or message that gives you a certain number. Well, your brain does the same thing with color. And it does the same thing. Your body does the same thing with the energy or the frequencies from the heavenly abode that has to be transmitted to your contact, to your body, and that you're able to transmit that information to yourself. And then you're able to transmit it to others in a form of outformation. This frequency transformation or this dimensional shift will take place once you're able to do that. But it takes a lot of work. And in that transformation, you have to cut off people, places, and things totally out of your life, because the time you have to do so is very limited. And if you don't cut certain people off, right? The people, the people I'm talking about. I'm not saying anybody specific, because you'll know who they are. You say, okay, this person is distracting me or disrupting my let's say your meditation or your prayer or your peace or your tranquility. People do that. They may not be doing it intentionally. They may be possessed in doing it to affect you from your transformation, to keep you from transforming. So you have to make the decision, in order for you to meet the destiny of your genes, that you have to, in your genetics, your ancestors are there and they have chosen you to make it. So they have a destiny for you at a specific time and place in this day and time in order to make it. So in order to eliminate your fate being altered, you have to cut off certain habits. You have to cut out certain foods. You have to be very strict in your discipline. You have to exercise. You have to focus on you and the transformation going within, not about other outside forces, outside distractions. That's the devil at work trying to keep the deities that are supposed to align themselves to make it out of here. They're trying to keep you from doing that. So it's vital that you understand that from what the Father is teaching us in these dimensional shifts, right? These dimensional, this dimensional shift, this dimensional transformation, the methods by which you have to do so. So what he also explains is that in the planetary, let's get back to the planet, because we talked about FAC, which is the frequency of the planet, your body and natural nature, right? Uh, these dimensions that you're transformed, that you have to transform through, 1, 2, 3. It's 3 sets of 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your ancestors exist on the 9th dimension. This is the perfected dimension that the Father speaks about. And within these dimensions, there are gateways that you have to travel through. And I'm not separate the literal you walking through one. No, your body morphs through it. There's a conscious transformation where your being moves through it, because you've left old worlds behind. You've left old habits behind. You've left the evil system and his ways behind. You've totally said, I'm tired of it. It's not for me. It's not working for me. You can see it's not working for you. You can see that it's not geared towards your development. You can see it's geared towards everything is moving in a rampant pace into the evil spiral going downhill. And you're like, which direction do I go? You already know you have to go into the direction of where your ancestors are guiding. That's why you're attracted to this doctrine. That's why you're attracted to the actual facts. That's why you're attracted to these patrak and this information that the Father has laid out and given to us, right, in this day and time, in this hereafter doctrine. So these gateways open up at a specific time. The same way a baby is born and the womb opens up at a specific day and time, natural nature designs it as such. Black holes in space open up at a specific time in the universe. And human beings have no idea how these gateways open up. These vortex align, right? We talked about the Dendora clock and how the planet Earth shifts and points to the heavens at a specific angle, and that angle aligns up with specific stars. And at a certain point, you're able to transform through or move through these gateways. But in transform, you have to be taken. It's not something you do on your own. Secondly, your body has to dematerialize. And what does that what does the Father mean by that? The Father explains that in order for you to make it to heaven, because all of them I'm speaking about is you saying, I want to make it to heaven. That's what all of the people, the good people on the planet, the people are trying to do the right thing. They want to make it to heaven. They want to exist in a peaceful abode where they don't have to deal with the devil and his woes and his hell and his suffering and his crying, his disease, all of these things that you're experiencing on the planet. If you are of those beings that want to make that ascension, right, you have to understand that your body experiences and records every event that is taking place in your everyday life. Every food you eat, every smell you take in, everything that touched your disc. You have a disc in your being that records in your genetics, that records everything about you, all of the places you went, everything that you saw, all of the clothes that you wore. All of that is recorded. Everything that you said, every person you had sex with, male or female, females, every child, every DNA, all of the DNA you took in. For the males, everything, every feminine that you exchange fluid with, all of that is recorded in your genes. All of the trauma that you've been through, it's recorded on your genetics. All of the dreams that you've had, every person that you thought about, your thoughts are recorded. The sight is all of your senses. Your senses are reference beams. It's like a hologram. And when you look at something, this is a reference beam because light photons enters your eye. That's recorded. Sound waves touch your eardrum. That is recorded. Food particles touch your taste buds. In the pockets of your taste buds in your tongue, your tongue literally records the taste of the food. Your brain calculates the taste of the poison, if it's healthy for you, if it's sweet, sour, salty. Your disc, your genetics records it. And in your transformation, in order for you to make it out of here, right, in this dimensional shift, this disc has to be saved for your body to make it through, because you can't take it through, and your conscious and your mind won't go through together. Let me say it that way. Because your conscious is separate from your body. Your body has to go through, but how does your conscious make it through? Your conscious is a composite of all of your experiences. So in order to save your conscious, right, you have to save the experiences. And these beings that we're in reference to, Panatharu, our ancestors, are able to store the conscious, allow the body to transform, to take it, dematerialize it, because it can't go through a wormhole through these gateways as in this physical, because because it's an anti-gravity transformation, meaning that as you go through these gateways, there's no gravity, therefore there's no attraction, there's no atom, let's say, what do you call uh attraction or pulling. The gravity, the gravity is basically electric, which is north and south, right? Negative and positive, right? So if you don't have that physical phenomenon, how does your body stay together? Because your body's stuck together through magnetism. If there's no physical realm, in order for your physical body to be stuck or composed or, right, manifested into your physical being, it has to dematerialize. The beings have to bring your DNA, and then the conscious has to be rebuilt with your body. You can't bring what you have in your being with you if it's of the old world. That's the point. You can't bring the old thinking. You can't bring the old music. You can't bring degrading lyrics. You can't bring the poisons, blood, meat in your genetics, metals in your body. You can't bring the mind of the devil in the heavenly abode. So you have to cleanse yourself first. Then you can be chosen to be brought through the wormhole, brought through the gateway. Your body will be deconstructed, then reconstructed on the other side. It doesn't take long for these beings to do this, though. These beings have been doing this for billions of years. The technology is an older technology compared to what you have here. So the Father is explaining that in this space-time continuum that you'll be introduced to the moment the transformation takes place, it's within an instant, because your conscious will be placed back within the mind and your body rebuilt in that world, in heaven, what you call heaven, what you know as heaven. It's not just what the religious world says, oh, I'll be taken up and then we're going to live forever. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a specific criteria for those that are chosen in order to bring it into that world, because going there, you can't wake up having the same habits, right? You can't have the same mentality. And that's why this doctrine has to liberate you first. That's why it's important to get this affirmation, get the actual facts, digest it, read them, study them, write them. You have to do this. And you have to do this now. There's no waiting. You get around to it. Don't put it off, because 2027, once 2027 comes in, it's it. That's it. Those that are supposed to make it, you won't have time to go back and redo all of what the Father has done in the last 40 years. You're not going to be able to catch up. It's going to be too late. And that's just the bottom line. There's no ways around it. So you must do that now, because the transformation happened literally 20, let's say 2012. It happened this 2026, 14 years ago already. I'm not saying that people that are just tuning in, getting introduced to the doctrine, getting introduced to Wu Sabat, won't be able to make it. So, any questions? Just put it in the chat. Okay, so let's move forward. So the Father is explaining that Panatharu, our ancestors, are in the ninth dimension in a perfected state. So each shift goes through a gateway. One gateway, second gateway, third gateway. And these are not little doors that you open, but more so conscious grids or conscious morphogenetic fields that your matrix shifts through. The same way a baby is grown in the matrix of the womb. The womb has a matrix where the body is shaped within the, let's say, they call it a morphogenetic field, that the genes morph. You hear morph, you hear genetic, you hear field, right? The genes morph into a specific field, and it doesn't grow outside of that. The reason the Father explained this in a class, that the morphogenetic field of the planet Earth, you know that it has limits. It has limited the growth of trees. This is why trees only grow a certain height. They don't grow past, let's say, sequoias, which are maybe 100, a few meters. I'm not sure of the height, 100 feet or whatever. It doesn't grow past that. You don't see animals just continuously to grow. You don't see whales. All animals, all species have a field that they grow into that's limited. Well, the morphogenetic field of other worlds, they have their own matrix that you can merge into, because matrices do morph. However, the frequencies have to combine to where they merge and mesh, and with harmonious, a sequence that is harmonious, a vibration that is harmonious, a sound or tone that's harmonious. The same way when you strike a chord of a specific harmony, the 8 octaves, all of the notes of that same note, all of the keys or the sounds or the vibrations of the same note, they all vibrate harmoniously, right? You see that. So what happens is the same thing with this specific, with the worlds, that the morphogenetic fields that this planet is merging into. Once the sound and the tones are merged cohesively, there's harmony between the transformation. And that's the same thing you have to do. You have to merge into this heavenly abode consciously first, and then the physical body of yours, the matrix, will transform. The body takes much more time, though. Just like in a dream, you can dream and you think much more quicker, but this body doesn't move as fast. That's because the spirit vibrates quicker. The soul, ether, vibrates quicker. Your body will take time to transform, but this was the purpose of the behaviors over the years, the disciplines that the Father gave us in order to prepare for the conscious shift. Your body should have been already prepared. You can't shift the body overnight. Your body can't be cleansed overnight because it's more dense and it doesn't move as fast. So it takes longer for you to eliminate, let's say, fecal matter out of your body. It's a circadian rhythm that's operating on 24. That it doesn't work that way in a spiritual abode. So your spirit is there, but your body has to catch up. At some point, the time sync is off. So you won't be able to catch your body up, and you'll be trapped. That's why some beings become trapped in lower abodes. The Father explains in Dimensional Shift that certain beings, when they don't make the shift, they stay trapped because they can't ascend. And what happens when they stay trapped? They become negative. They become angry. They become possessive. They become jealous and envious. And they possess people on the lower abodes because they are not able to ascend because of they were trapped on the other side. You will also be trapped on the other side if you don't transform the way you're supposed to. And that's why it's vital that you get this information and get these actual facts. The information is in a book. The father says one can get trapped as the shift takes place because you won't be able to cross over. Because as you're trying, your body is stuck because it's full of the DNA of the Adamite and his race. It's full of religious doctrines. It's full of belief systems. It's full of conjecture. It's full of slander. It's full of gossip. Look over the last 10 years, how many people have been slandering and gossiping, creating platforms for it. The devil intentionally created platforms and allowed people and made people superstars and gave them fame from talking and slandering and, let's say, perpetrating this religious doctrine because it keeps people in a negative mind state. And he wants you in a negative mind state because he has to feed off of you on those lower abodes. That's why he's okay with these podcasts and these so-called channels using our name and using the Father's image to, right? And then you get on the same platforms and you spew the devil's work. You spew hate. You spew dissension. You spew this division. You create, you turn sons against their fathers and daughters against their mothers. You send people to the world, to the devil's world, because you're being used and possessed by these lower forces because you didn't make the shift. You know when a person makes the shift because they will be speaking positive affirmation to you that, and they're being used by Panatharu, by our ancestors to get the affirmation to you properly, not using it as a stepping stone to step on people to make themselves look good. This is what religious doctrine does. That's the mind or the spirit forces of the religious world that has to beat up on people in order for them to be righteous. They have to condemn people to hell and call people devils and say, oh, these people are negative. Don't listen to these people. They tell you that, right, in order to make themselves look good. But when you hear what's coming out their mouth, it's nothing but vomit. And when you listen to this vomit and you drink of this vomit, you're poisoning yourself. So this is how the devil has caused people not to make it and to be left behind. And they know they're left behind because if you think about their topics and you think about what they're speaking about, they always speak about what other people should be doing or shouldn't be doing and how they're not righteous and how they're this. They're not giving you what the Father came to teach. They haven't become one with the word of God. There's a difference. When a person has let's say, merged with the Father and it has become one with the Father and one with the word of God, then they're able to give you the words of God, not words of themselves, because they realize their words don't mean anything. Their personal feelings about this person and that person holds no weight because it's a belief system. You can't prove the things that you're speaking about others. You're just using it to make a platform and make yourself look good because you can't be good on your own. You only can look good if you're using the devil's tool to point and beat up others. That's what the tactic of the religious doctrine. The Allah, the Yahweh of the Quran, the Allah of the Quran, the Yahweh of the Torah, what does he do in order to make himself look good? He has to create a devil. Most religious people will tell you, they will say that, oh, without the devil, how would you know what God is? They justify a place for the devil in your life. So they're giving power to the devil. That is a religious doctrine that is deceptive because you should not have to use a devil to make yourself or make a God look good. That's called it's what is it? The disease people have, narcissism. Narcissists do that. They give you pain and then take away the pain, right? In a way to say, well, I made you feel good, didn't I? Even though I hurt you, right? I still love you, right? This is what happens. And so you have to eliminate that out of your system. Eliminate judgment. Stop judging people. And the moment you look at a person, stop doing that because you have too much work on yourself to do. There's 8 hours out of the day that you have to really perfect yourself. 8 hours of sleep. Most of you have to work 8 hours, which is now what, 16, and then 4 hours to do what? Perfect your being, exercise, eat well, shop, whatever you need to do for your everyday maintenance, for everyday living and survival, you don't have time to partake in any of the devil's activities. He's get it out of your system now. You're not going to have past this period. I'm telling you, you're not going to have it. The world will, you see the chaos tumble. Every month is going to be more and more and more and more. And then you'll see the rising of your own nation, which we'll get into. That's why we're going to address this nation building, which you should be a part of in this day and time. The Father has his own nation, our nation. The people have a nation for you to be saved and you to be a part of the collective mental people who are transforming in this day and time to move forward. Let's get to some questions. I see any more questions in the group. I keep saying group. Let me say channel. Thanks for tuning. Any questions? Okay, when you talk about the body transforming, is me sweating, okay, a part of the process? Sweating, I don't, maybe when it started to happen to me, I was good. Okay, so, well, your body has a natural way to cleanse itself, right? It cleanses itself through elimination of toxins through the skin. It eliminates, you cleanse yourself many ways through obviously sweat, obviously even breathing. Breathing eliminates toxins. Rahobat, everyone, right? Breathing, when you exercise and breathing out fat, people don't know that when you breathe out, exercise, you lose weight from breathing out. We talked about that before. Also, just cleansing your body through, let's say, a colonic, to cleanse your colon, large colon, your large intestine, small intestine, or your colon, your bottom, your large intestine that goes into your rectal area. All of that should be cleansed out through maybe a herbal combination, right? A lot of water, the breath. Yes, thanks for mentioning that. The breath book. Yes, the Father has the breath book, which is responsible. He teaches the breathing exercises to eliminate negativity. So there's many ways to cleanse. Sweating is one. You know, if you exercise and your blood is circulating, your body will naturally eliminate. So people have the transformation is happening in many different ways. Your ancestors are guiding you in many different ways and how to transform. If they're eliminating people out of your life, accept it, right? If they are eliminating you from different situations and people, accept it. Don't always look at these things that are being taken out of your life as a curse or as something against you. A lot of times these things are helping you to eliminate obstacles to assist in your transformation. Email Ricardo, you can email me. Check out the email in the description. You'll see that there. Question, is the ninth dimension as physical as the third dimension? That's a good question. And it's no. The ninth dimension is not as physical as the third dimension. The third dimension is very dense. The other abodes are not as dense. And when you're not as dense, when the Father explained in one class, he said, when a person says, what's the matter? You say, well, it's the matter. The matter is the matter. You get me? So when you say, the matter is the problem. Yes, because within matter, you have your cycles of pain, right? And in the physical, you have to destroy to build, right? With attachments, detachments. With love comes hate. With likes comes dislike. All of that takes place within the physical abode. So the ninth dimension is a perfected state because those beings don't engage in those lower abode physical, let's say, laws that create sufferings for human beings on this abode. The sufferings happen in the physical. Why does the suffering happen in the physical? Well, typically people suffer because of things that they don't have, or things that they have that they would like more of, or things that they, right? You can use any scenario for that. A person suffers because they may be overweight. Why they're suffering? Because they want less weight. They want to lose weight. That's a desire, which causes suffering, right? If you have $5, you may desire 10. right? A person with $1 desires 5. So any one of those areas of spectrum, you'll find a person that will have a desire about a particular circumstance that they're in that they can be happier in if they had this, and others are right in situations that if they had what the person isn't happy with, they will be happy. Some people are in much more suffering positions than those who are in better positions. And you can look at a person who has no house, no car, nothing, and is homeless, and they're living day by day trying to get a meal. And they look at a person who has a house, but it may be not as much food on the inside, but they still are happy because they would have, if they had a house, they were happy. They would be happy. These are all physical attributes that takes place throughout the world. You can apply this to any situation. Beings on higher abodes don't go through these lower desire because they don't have desires for the physical manifestations. And the more miserable a person is, you'll see they have more desires. A person that wants more, that's always complaining because they need this or they want this. Not necessarily needs. Some needs are not necessarily wants. Most wants could be needs, but not all the time. Some people's wants are just from greed. Millionaires want to be a billionaire. It's not a necessity. And if they don't have the billion, then they are not really as happy, even though they have a million. And those that are with a few thousand would love to have a million. So this is the complexity of human beings and the desires that are on this plane. That beings on the ninth realm, they don't ninth abode, they don't have that. They don't involve themselves with the desires of the planet, so they won't ever suffer. If you don't want anything, you won't suffer. Stop wanting so much, then you'll be okay. Be content with what Panatharu, your ancestors, have given you. So that's why these are perfected abodes that you have to be able to move in. So that's a great question. I hope that was that was clear. Any other question? Is part of the transformation leaving America? Yes. That's part of it. You have to leave by choice or by force. That's just how it goes. It's not anything that it's not religious. It's not a racist statement. It's not a religious dogma. Woe is me, doomsday. It's not that. Systems die. Economies die. Everything that lives goes through the cycle of life and death. So death is not just physical death. Mentalities die, right? Conscious beings of a certain conscious level dies. Things evolve. So when systems die because they're rotting from the inside out, then you obviously you find a way or an environment that's conducive for living. And so, yes, you have to leave America. I mean, it's not something. I mean, they're telling you have to leave. It's not something that's like, oh, he's telling people to, because people have under this impression. When I was doing Return Home Africa, right? People's like, oh, Duswa's telling people to leave America. I'm not telling nobody to leave. I'm saying if you want this transformation, if you want your body, your being to be in tune with nature, you have to get away from distractions. The distractions come from specific societies that are programming you to distract you in every area of your life where you don't know yourself. There's not a person that has been in a system structured where you're guided to think and live a certain way that you've learned and had the time to learn yourself, because you don't have the time to do so. You don't have the time to really get to know yourself. The time that you have is for basically to survive, right? Or to exist in a system that requires you to work in order to pay for living. So you're not thriving. You're just surviving. And surviving is the lowest part of the animal instinct. That's the part of the human animal that is concentrated in action, because you have to, every 30 days, there is a survival mechanism that kicks in that forces you to do what? In order, you have to pay your bills, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your heat, you have to pay your for water, you have to pay for groceries. Those are survival mechanisms. That's not thriving. So while the system, not all systems are designed the same way. You see what I'm saying? The system of the Americas and other European systems, other systems around the globe, they're designed where you just basically pay what you need to pay every 30 days, and if not, there's repercussions. That equates to I might die. I might be homeless. If I'm homeless, I won't eat. If I don't eat, I will die. If I don't have a roof over my head, I'll freeze to death. I'm going to die. If I don't have water, I will. I'm going to become, obviously thirsty. I'll die of thirst. Even though you're not saying that consciously, the subconscious, your being is in a high, let's say, adrenaline mode where you're moving, you're trying to survive every day to make things happen, and you haven't really sat down and sat with yourself for a good week to say, let me teach myself about me, the things that I need to fix. The mind that I've adopted, is it really me? What are my triggers? Why am I angry? Why do I get frustrated at certain words or certain situations? Why do I have road rage? Why am I cursing a person out, right? That can't hear me, even though I'm in a car and they did something may not have been intentional, but you express a certain anger towards this person, right? What about a loved one, right? You may have a loved one, a mate, or someone where you wake up cranky and you take it out on them and you justify your negative behavior, right? These are things that you have to learn about yourself, where you can't blame other people. It's easy for human beings to mind doesn't like being watched. The Father says in the mind book, it doesn't like discipline. So it's easy to blame other people for how you feel. And that's a cop out. No one should have an effect on how you feel. You should be in control of how you feel. Now, a person actions can create a certain emotion in your being, but how you respond to it and how you react to it is under your control. Now, I'm not saying it's a perfect world where you perfect. Well, you can perfect yourself. That's one thing. You can perfect yourself. That's your journey, but you have to learn how to do that, and you have to be in an environment where to cultivate the peaceful mentality that you would like to have, that where you're able to learn and hear the voice of someone else that's not you, to where the inner you, the true inner you, the inner voice, the peace, the God, the deity in you, the real you, can be able to become who it's supposed to become and not be distracted by voices and others on the outside. You haven't been able to do that. When have you been able to not worry about anything in the world? At what point in your existence have you been able to do that? Even from grade school, you start off going to kindergarten. You have to learn your ABCs. You have to go to school and get your lunch and make sure the pressures of your parents are there. Them having to wake you up early. You can't wake up when your body wakes up. Someone is waking you up. That's a disruption of your peace right there. Because your body's circadian rhythm, you're supposed to naturally wake up in a restful, peaceful state where you wake up feeling joy, feeling happy, feeling content. Most people can't wake up that way. So your day is started off disrupted by the devil, because you have to go to a place that he's making you go, or you're forced to go, because if you don't go, you won't be able to pay your bills, which you won't be able to survive. So all of that is catering to the lower animalistic part of a human being, and it's not conducive to the development of the God in you. This is why your environment is needed in order for you to be in tune with natural nature. Right, to natural nature. So yes, you have to leave certain environments. I'm not just saying America. I'm saying any environment where, right, you're not welcomed, because you've been placed in a situation where you're forced to take abuse. You're forced to accept that you're not liked. You're forced to accept that you're hated, and you have to live through that. That's trauma every day. Africa, and eventually people will see, right? It's not something I'm saying, oh, you must do it. No, because everyone won't be able to make it anyway in Africa, right? You won't be able to make it in an environment because you're too tainted with the Adamite and your genetics are so far gone. It's going to be very difficult for you to cleanse yourself. I'm not speaking to everybody, but there's those that no, I'm not, but I'm not saying there's no hope either. What I'm saying is work on yourself so you can make it, right? Work on yourself so you will be able to hear the voice of your ancestors so you can seek assistance in your transformation so you can be guided to where you need to go. And you have to want it. Just like you want anything else. If you want food, you'll get it. You want sex, people know how to get that. You want a party, you'll make a party or you'll find a party. You know how to get with you what you want. If you want it, you'll go out and make it happen. And that's the answer to that. I hope that is clear. So any other questions about this or you want, let's continue to move forward with this transformation. It's this transformation doctrine, this dimensional shift. Okay, so we talked about the the planets, right? The planet we're on merging with the frequencies of the higher abodes, or let's say risk. This planet Earth is a blessed planet because it's connected to Razak, which is a planet in a three-star system, a three-sun system that our ancestors are from. Parazaku, the Riskians. One of the beings incarnated of that race is this being Panabab that you see affectionately to my left and right. Depictions of being who has incarnated in flesh, who is alive today in this day and time on this planet to guide us back to our heavenly abode. And this planet Earth has, and our connection to this risk or Razak is a direct connection through Sirius, right, which is the 18th galaxy directly into the 19th galaxy. And these are just portholes and methods by way that these beings travel back and forth through these abodes. And the only reason we know that is because this being incarnated has taught us this affirmation. He's taught us that these beings open up gateways and travel through various vortexes. And these vortexes affect the only certain beings can have knowledge of these vortex, and only certain beings can open these vortex, as you've seen in the as he gave an explanation in the Philadelphia experiment. He spoke about the Philadelphia experiment. There's a movie out about it called the Philadelphia experiment. When you see Philadelphia, the movie, you see how the zero time reference. This is the comparison he gave it to. I think it's the USS Elridge, right in the 30s, right in the 40s, where they were doing an invisibility project. And this invisibility project, they tried to make a craft or ship invisible in order to transport it 10 years into the future, right? Or invisible, and transport it to the future and then bring it back, because quantum space and the time continuance is not separated like people think. Scientists have already shown that in various experiments in quantum physics, where the time loop, or the loop that you think you're in, time moving forward, is not forward. It's an expansion. So time, the past, present, and future is all happening at the same time. So there is no time future and there is no past. It's right now. Every now is a now. Even now becomes a now, and that now that was a now becomes a now because we're talking about it right now. That's how it works. And so when he speaks about the invisibility project, and how they try to take a ship connected to these invisibility conductors. Scientists back then, von Neumann and Tesla, was all involved. What they missed was that a human biological person that's connected to attached. That's what he spoke about. Your attachments can keep you to this planet. Your attachments can keep you on the lower abode. Your attachments can keep you from transforming. Attachments to people, attachments to places, attachments to things. And these attachments create emotional energy links that are very difficult to sever because your heart seat creates a literal magnetic attraction to it, and it creates a cord within time and space. And that's why broken hearts and people that detach from people that they love, they can feel severe pain in their body, even in their heart. You can even die from a broken heart, or you lose someone very special. It's because that attachment is as a severance that's created with the etheric cord that you've connected with the person through magnetism, attraction, the love and exchange of emotions, which is energy, atoms, right? Quantum physics, it creates a strong bond. And oftentimes, when it's time to make the transformation, you're so concerned are your loved ones, your family, your children, your this person and that person, and it can keep you bound to the physical abode. The same thing happens when a person in death, they die, right? Or transform or transition. Not transform, they transition to a higher abode. Oftentimes, the attachments from loved ones will keep that person stuck in limbo. And their family is crying and missing them very much and going through agony and pain. And the being who has transitioned may not be able to move on to higher abodes because they're attached to, they're concerned about their loved one. And this is how you create disembodied souls and spirits. So the father was explaining that when you are attached in this physical realm, your transformation may be difficult. And so he often taught us and gave us certain disciplines in our walk with the Father to detach from family, to detach from uh, jobs, to detach from careers, to detach from many different aspects in order to help those that he knew would hinder them from their growth. You often see sometimes where a person can be so attached, even in a domestic relationship. They can be so attached to the individual and it's so hurtful and harmful to them. It's so abusive to their children, so abusive to their mental health but they can't detach from it. And the genetics have been exchanged so heavy that the genes already are almost, what do you call, merged, and it's difficult to rid the person out of your system. Particularly feminine, they have, because they receive the seed or the semen, the DNA of men, they often are more affected. And we have a book called Genetic Kiss. If you're interested, the father wrote a actual fact that speaks to this in very much detail. So many books he's written. I try to cover as much, but the information is all throughout. But that Genetic Kiss speaks about how the feminine, the literal genes of the man literally gets on in her genes and on her DNA, and on her nerves, where she says this man is getting on her nerves. That's where that term comes from. And it affects her mental stability. Well, you can't transform. Imagine 5, 10, 20 years in a relationship that wasn't helpful or beneficial to your progress, and you're stuck in it so much that you didn't have time to teach yourself or help yourself grow spiritually. And these things are detrimental to human beings. This is why emotions have to be controlled, right? Because the energy can be detrimental. It can help or hurt you. But typically, most of the time, it's detrimental because of the power that's in it. So the point of the attachment is in aspects of in the transformation. Your mind has to be able to let things go, and because it's not for you to try to save everyone that's in your family, or everyone that's of your friends, everyone that is not designed genetically to make that shift. And if you're so caught up in the behaviors of these individuals, then you'll miss your opportunity. And that's why the father said that when you're taken up, right, if you even think about someone that's not on the craft or taken up in the crystal city in our Hinduat, which are the crafts of part of our lift, our rapture, right, of the 144,000, then you'll be removed from the ship. You'll be removed from your from the vehicle. And so this is important that you start minding these disciplines and mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. So yeah, that's a part of that, the transformation. But with the Father speaks about these 9 dimensions. We're really 8, and then the 9th is the perfected state. So folding this question there. Okay, good exercises to gain meditation. Question: what are some of the good exercises to gain control of the subconscious? Meditation. Meditation, you have 2 minds. You have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind has many, many different thoughts because you have the genetics from many of your ancestors from both parents. The Father speaks about that in 30 Spirits. It's a patrak. Inquire about it in the email if you would like to know how to get it. He speaks about the mother and father of you and your grandmother and father from each side. So you have 2 grandmothers and 2 grandfathers. And then you have 4 great grandmothers and 4 great grandfathers, and so on back to 4 generations. So because your genetics, your genes are literally computer scripts that can be programmed, and the sound within sound, light becomes sound, right? And light is stored in the DNA. Therefore, sound is in the DNA. And because sound is in the DNA, the sound of your ancestors, right, from the frequency by which they communicate in their world, in their abode, they can communicate through you, through your genetics, and that genetic transfer of sound is transmitted or heard through the voice and your conscious, because your conscious synapses, the brain, uses signals to pull information from the neurons within your brain. The neurons create a picture in the holographic brain. This is why you're able to remember, because the chemicals by which you store this information within your brain, you can recall it in your conscious. But your subconscious is let's say, the data center of all of your experiences that you don't remember. Even like the car you saw drive by when you were 8 years old on a school bus and you was going to school, that car at the red light that almost ran a light and hit someone, right? You may not have an idea or remember that particular event. Or you may have seen a bird land on outside your window. An everyday event that is not stored in necessarily your conscious remembering vault, but your subconscious has stored it in a negative layer. Like old photographs used to be stored within the negatives of old printing cameras. When you had to get a film developed, you would have to take the negative. Well, that's how the subconscious mind stores information or information that you see in your everyday life. Things that you don't remember, things that you see every day that you just don't pay attention to. It stores that. So what happens when you meditate, the conscious mind is focused first in your first initial meditation experience. You're hearing a lot of voices from the conscious mind. These are voices from music, sounds from your family, things that you heard during the day, a movie, right? Things that you may have heard over your grandmother tell you. All many different voices are there. Once you're able to settle those sounds out and you're able to still your mind like a lake being stilled, right? If you were to watch a lake that don't have any ripples in it, it's very clear, or you can see to the bottom, almost like glass. Well, it takes a certain amount of minutes, even hours, for that mind to settle. Then you can see clearly. Then your subconscious mind, you're able to access. And the way you strengthen that is through the ability to control the conscious, then you access the subconscious. But your subconscious is the most powerful part of your existence because it literally operates without you even knowing it, without you even giving it a command to. So meditation is what allows your subconscious to become accessible to you and for you to strengthen its powers. I hope that answers your question. Question, will tattoos? Yes, tattoos will have an effect on the shift. That's a good question. Okay, there's two questions there. There's two questions. One, will tattoos have an effect on whether you're able to make the shift? The father said tattoos alter your DNA. It alters your matrix, yeah, because you're inflicting pain and you're inserting a foreign object into your skin. And literally, a tattoo, your body can't rid itself of a tattoo because the ink is too large. The ink molecules are too large for your cells to get rid of. Typically, if you have a foreign object within your skin, the body the body produces certain cells that fight against the foreign object if it's detrimental to the body system, and it will surround it and absorb it and create, let's say, if it's a scar or an object, it will try to eliminate the substance by breaking down the molecular structure and eliminate it through urine, through the bloodstream, basically. But the problem with the ink of the tattoo is that the cells can't absorb the ink. It can't take it in because the molecules of the ink is too, either it's too toxic or it's too heavy for the cell to absorb it. So as it's trying to absorb it, the cells die in absorbing it, and it's a continuous cycle. And when it dies, all it does is just be reabsorbed in the ink. Over time, like 30 or 40 years, I think after a certain amount of years, the elasticity of your skin and the second layer, the dermis, epidermis, and the subcutaneous part where near your oil glands. I don't think the tattoo penetrates that far down, but it penetrates to a layer where it can't be eliminated. So it alters your matrix. So your body is constantly fighting and it's really under a lot of stress. Look up what happens with tattoo ink. So it does affect your transformation because your matrix should be the same. Your matrix should be the same DNA structure that it's in your programmed in your genes. If you've altered it, you've altered your entire matrix, which can affect the gateway transformation or your dematerialization and being recalibrated on the other side. So it can affect that. I don't think it will. It doesn't hinder you, but it does affect. Like certain foods affects you, but it doesn't mean it will keep you from transforming. Metals affect you as well. I can't say because the father didn't express that those with tattoos won't make. He didn't say that. Those with metals in their bodies, he said the metals can't go, like piercings. That's why I said even when you go into the craft, you can't have anything on your body because the magnetism affects the metal, and just certain elements from the planet throws off the way the craft moves through this Mafkuzet energy within the dark matter of space. And if it has to be dematerialized in the matrix of your body. So if it's metals there, it throws it off. It's like a crack in a window or a scratch on your record. All of that affects your record. And so it's difficult to repair a record, right? Because if you scratch it, you almost have to eliminate the entire groove and replace the entire groove. Like records with this records that they have, if it was scratched, it was difficult to fix it. You just have to. I don't know if they could fix a way they could fix it, but at the time, I'm sure it was like damaged all the way. So that's the same thing that happens to your body. So it says the question is, so our actual bodies will go. Yes, your bodies, maybe you're just coming in, your bodies will go, but it won't be in your bodies won't be in the composite that it's in now. It has to be dematerialized and recalibrated because the anti-gravity uh, area, let's say vacuum, that it will crush the body down to almost anti-material, anti-atoms, right? Because the density of it will your body is only calibrated to exist within a certain this biosphere, right? It's balanced to where it doesn't get pulled too close into the earth, and it's not the gravity balances, meaning the centrifugal forces of the planet keeps you from being crushed too far down and expanding too far open. So your body is balanced because of the pushing and pulling. It's a perfect balance. When you travel through these gateways, there's the gravitation pull of a black hole is so strong that light can't escape it. And because your body is made up of waves and light, it will be crushed down out of existence. So your body in this state that it's in can't go in that way. It has to be transformed into an anti-gravitational or anti-atom or the word I'm looking for, anti-matter. Yes, anti-matter condition. You have matter and you have antimatter. Once matter and antimatter connect, it balances out. It cancels out each other. The same thing with Maf Kuzet. Maf Kuzet is an exotic matter. Dark matter is exotic matter. It's matter that's not affected by gravitation, by the physical world. Your body has to be in that condition of antimatter in order for you to make it through the black hole, through the other side of the universe to this heavenly abode that most religious, all people say they want to go. You can't go just with the physical body as it is. So it has to be changed in form. But it happens so fast that once you make it on the other side, your conscious is recalibrated within your physical and your DNA is rebuilt. Your physical, because they have the DNA. These beings are able to take DNA and rebuild a being. As the genetics is there. All they need is the base pairs and amino acids, and they have certain let's say tubes that can grow genes quickly, just materialize the genes. They have it's called a quantum converter that's able to take crystal converter that's able to take the DNA of a being and convert it into a physical manifestation from an etheric realm very fast. This is what when these crafts were coming into the planet, that certain governments were looking for these called quantum converters. They were crystal converters because the crystal was able to harness the power of light. And the light that you see, if you could just say harness it within, that's where they get this crystal ball. And they say, well, look into the crystal ball. You can see the future, see the past, right? This is what light, that's where they got it from. These beings, extraterrestrial beings, are able to take this light, right? Harness it, store it, all this information within the universe, right? And store it on these specific discs and pull out the information that they want, even access certain beings, because you are light, you are atoms, you are material matter that are waves, and you only exist as a certain amount of periodic elements that can be condensed to quantum particles as waves. And light waves can be harnessed, which is all part of this quantum physics that the Father is speaking about in dimensional shift. So yes, the body and the conscious will make the shift, but just not in the form that you think. That's how you can travel at the speed of light. Exactly. Thanks for that overstanding. Can you explain how speaking the language will help in the shift? Will both Nuwapic and Miss Batia be appropriate for the shift? Yes. Miss Batia, Nubic, Nuwabic. There was Nubic, which is a dialect, which is actually a combination of Arabic and English. The father introduced Nubic upstate. Then he introduced Nuwabic with a B, then Nuwapic, right? Then Sabatic, Misbatia, and it's always evolving. Why? Because it's music. When you look at the letters of our language, right, Miss Batia, Sabatic, you see that these are music notes. Look at music notes and look at our letters again, right? You can even visualize in your head the music notes, how they wrote with the bar at the top. You see a lot of the letters, with the bar, you see how that's written, right? Right? The bah, you see the sa, right? You see these look like music notes. A lot of them look like a B clef, G clef. When you look at it, and what it does, it creates the power of the language speaks about this. It creates a barrier from outside sounds or disturbances from other frequencies because it recalibrates your mind and your body to the tone of the planet. And the tone of the planet, FAC, the sound when you hear certain tones, when you when you chant our chants and our prayers, you hear that all of it is in harmonious tone. That's why the Father says everyone has to be in harmony in order to create a specific word. Oscillate, I think it's oscillate, right? It creates literally a protective mechanism, a barrier around your brain, because the tones sound affects the physical. Sound actually manifests the physical. The 8 Ogdoad, which are our ancestors, are high beings, are beings of sound. They are the frequency that manifests the material world. These are ancestors that are in the form of frequencies or beings in the form of sound. And you know sound is alive because sound shapes the material world. Certain sounds have patterns. They have this machine where if you play a certain sound and you put sand on the surface, it creates a specific pattern. I forgot the name of the science. Look it up, and you'll see it creates a pattern. Well, look at the planet. The planet is in a specific pattern. The body is in a specific pattern. The 3 bends that you have in your arms and your legs, and the way your body is shaped as a tuning fork, the sound of the language, sabbatic, right? It creates a force field that protects others from tuning in or having the ability or penetrate the barrier of your brain, to where you are eliminating the programming of the Adamites and the other authorities. The sound that they've already programmed in you of authority becomes removed from your genes from the sound of sabbatic. This is when you perfect example. And the Father gives a perfect example of how sound affects the person, affects the physical. Think about when an opera singer is singing at a very high pitch and it breaks a glass. You don't see the sound, right? But you hear the sound, right? If deaf, God forbid anyone upon the thought, no, I'm not saying anyone that's hearing impaired. I'm not trying to make fun of them. I'm saying if you couldn't hear, you would see the effects of the sound on the glass. Okay, so I'll answer that question. Whether the storm, when you hear and they break the glass, that means that sound affected the physical material world. Well, that happens every day in your life. So the sound of sabbatic, continuously speaking it, reprogrammed your genetics to calibrate on the frequency and rebuild you from your ancient tones that you have that's in tune with the planet, and that allows you to become in tune with natural nature, which is a part of your transformation. So that's how that helps. Inquire about the power of language, and you'll have more information as the Father teaches about that in those books. And also, there's the secret science, ancient science of speech. That's a master secret as well. So, how to cure anxiety? Anxiety is, the question is, how can I cure my anxiety with sound? Okay, so anxiety is either a created anticipation or a creation of the mind of things that could happen, may happen, or that you're looking forward to happening. Anxiety typically is not something that is rooted in reality. It's more so a creation of the mind and how an outcome of a thing could be. Oftentimes, we anticipate a situation and we ponder upon the outcome, and it gives us anxiety because the outcome could make you nervous. It can make you afraid. It can make you fearful. It can make you, let's say, insecure. So you create these anxieties. How certain sounds of soothing, natural sounds, right, affects your body because it allows your body to relax. It allows your mind to relax, and it keeps you in the now. When you allow your body to relax and you don't ponder upon thoughts that are not, or fears, because fears are created. Fears are not necessarily something that you need to be thinking about, because typically a fear is something that hasn't happened yet. And when you become fearful of a thing that hasn't happened and maybe may not even won't happen, 90%, 99% of the time, it's something that won't even happen. You take your body through a lot of nervous trauma, and your nervous system is overworked. That's what anxiety is. Your nervous system is preparing for a situation that hasn't necessarily confirmed itself. So every time you have anxiety, your nervous system moves at a high rate, and it sends these chemical messages up your nervous system through your brain, and the brain sends the signal back to your body, and you create a reality that's not there. So you're using your nervous system in a way that's, the overusage causes it to, let's say, oversurge itself with chemical messages, because that's what happens in your nervous system. Your nervous system sends electromagnetic movements and communication device through each cell like fibers, and it communicates right to the brain. You have to eliminate those messages. And what music does, the right music allows you to calm your being and eliminates the transfer of these messages through your nervous system. So what I typically do, right, to help, right, what I typically do, okay, I see somebody in here. Let's get him out of here. Okay, so what I typically do is, um, let me see something. Sorry, we just got a little disturbance. What I typically do in the morning, right, early rising, what you could typically do is you play a peaceful meditation the moment you wake up. Before you do anything, before you pick up your phone, anxiety, you can go through your social media and get anxiety. You can read an email and get anxiety, or create a nervous system, or not create a nervous system, create messages through your brain that sends these messages through your body. And because your body acts as a computer, it moves up and down, and these signals or move faster than sometimes your thoughts. That's why you're able to drop a potato before you hit a heat, feel the heat. You could pick up a potato, your body will sense the heat before your brain is able to calculate the pain. That's how quick your nervous system moves. So when you pick up a phone and you look at a message, that whatever information is being passed on, your brain creates a response. Your body responds to it, and then you in your cycle of tension, your cycle of trauma. This is depending on what message you receive. It's important to, in that state, you give yourself a calming, relaxed first 15 minutes going into your day to eliminate any undue influences of forces or feeds that can spark anxiety, spark insecurity, spark fears. You have to do that. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, that will assist in the anxiety. The sound, natural sounds like, I listen to the Duguk, right? Dukuk, depending on where what country, but it's a specific sound, right, that the father speaks about. It's a Nubian instrument, and it's a very calming, soothing, relaxing, natural sound. The Father has produced a lot of music that allows you to meditate. You can play it in the background when you study it, or in the background in prayer, your morning meditation, right? Relaxing with the Etherians, visualization. These are all music that the Father, His Excellency Dr. Malachi Z. York, has put in, right? It's on the internet, on YouTube. You can find it in different places. Some people have it downloaded. You can email me. Maybe I can send you a few links or something, but that will also help. So in the morning is vital, and then you do your chants, right? And then in the evening, before you go to sleep, when you're relaxing, stay off your phone for at least 2 hours before you go to sleep, to eliminate your nervous system and your body creating any extra traumas or nervous reactions from. You don't know how much your body responds internally through these social media feeds and this news and stuff. So typically an hour or two before you go to bed, an hour or two after you wake up. So question. Okay, so the question is, can you please connect this affirmation to the wine? Yes, you did have that question. I will do a special lecture on that again when we're ready to vote. We have some voting we have to do, right? For our nation, because we see we have all have to be a part of a specific your nation in these last days and times, so you can be protected. So I'll do that and address the Hawaiian Islands. I didn't forget. I think you've emailed me a few times, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to thank you for reminding me. Is it still good to practice to chant the Om tone to retune? Yes, I play the Om all the time. In fact, some of my video uploads, you hear it playing in the background. That's one sound I play all the time. The Om is very good to play. It's soothing. It recalibrates your genes, your DNA. Your DNA vibrates to it. Your body connects to it, and it's continuous. Play it at night. All of those when you're sleeping, you wake up in the middle of the night to do the chants at 3. Then it's still playing. It's good. These are ways or method to continue to what do you call it? Attune yourself and help your transformation. Morning breathing exercises is great. Yes, if we have that, the breathing book, the breath book, for those that are looking for it, please email. Okay, so please say prayer for Anthony Marshall. Yes, surely I will. Email me his picture, please, so we can give a prayer for Anthony Marshall. And you all, everyone that's here, you all can support. If you want to become a member, you can just choose to become a member of Nubian Nation, and member of the Nubian Nation. Just become a member if you want to support and you appreciate the channel. We have a lot going on that we're going to be doing this year. We're going to make sure this is consistent. We're going to launch the website so we can vote later on through the year. We are in contact, making sure we are in contact with the Father so that we can get the proper instructions and make sure that we are on the same page, and we're doing what's needful for his freedom, and we're doing what's needful for the freedom of our nation. So question, there's a question there. Okay. Humbleness, my condolences to your loss, but make sure that you stay connected to him. Brother had lost, I think this brother or sister, I'm not sure, have lost that you didn't lose your father. He gained his wings, he shed his skin suit, and make sure that you stay connected to him and you talk to him and let him know that you're going to keep him strengthened in the physical by your prayers and chants. That's what you can do, and make sure you let him know that you're doing your best and you're going to carry on what the best that he had for you in this life. So that's my advice to you and your situation. So I don't want to say add to any sadness. I hope it wasn't traumatic. I hope it wasn't a early passing. But in our culture, when our ancestors gain their wings, we appreciate them, we love them, and we stay connected to them. And they gain more power in that world because they're able to assist you in ways that they may not have been able to assist you in the physical. So we have a book where Father has given us updates about our ancestors who who make their transition. Question: can you speak on the use of a harmonicon to assist with the meditations and chants? Yeah, the father mentioned that instrument was an instrument that tuned you in. I don't. It's a certain instrument that uses. It's in the Wavelength A book, right, where he speaks about this instrument that uses air instead of electronics. The reason why he says it helps tune you in is because when you the wind from it's a natural sound. It's not an unnatural sound. A lot of instruments are unnatural. When you have to hit a certain key, or you have electric synthesizers that distort the sound, natural sounds. Oftentimes instruments, they're though they are considered natural, they still have distortion because of the way the instrument is made. But this instrument that you're in reference to, the harmonicon, I think that's the word. I know which one you're talking about, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's the one with the when you press it, the air. So because it's as close to natural nature, any sound that's close to natural nature, the father says, will help tune you in and tune your body with the natural nature sounds that you hear from the wind blowing through the trees, or the whistle blow that you hear, birds chirping. These are all natural sounds, and that's what that's what you have to tune yourself in order for your body to be recalibrated, because no natural sound exists in with the music that they have today. Right? He speaks about this in Are There Black Devils? He speaks about how the devil has infiltrated music and created synthetic music, synthetic sounds. Therefore, it has disrupted your natural nervous system, and your body is totally out of tune with natural nature. Yeah. So that helps by using that natural tone from there, from that instrument. Are tuning forks effective for us? Yes. Right? He says the tuning forks, excuse me. He says tuning forks are, because the way they vibrate, you are a tuning fork. If you look at your body, the way it's shaped with the two forks would be your legs. The upper body would be the head. If you turn it upside down, that's a tuning fork. You are a tuning fork. The harmony or the frequency of a tuning fork, how you hit a tuning fork, is the way that the body vibrates with other beings or other people who are harmoniously in tune with you. And therefore, once you hit a tuning fork, your sound will reverberate with you, and you know it. That's how you get tuned in. You know your sound, you find your sound, and you chant on that sound that's comfortable or vibrates with your body. Question. I hope that was brief, but I hope that was clear. What can we do to help the master teacher get out of this situation? That's a great question, K-Rax. We're all going to do this collectively. I spoke about this in episode, I think it was 7 or 6, right? Where we spoke about identity crisis. Look at that episode if you don't mind. It's a lot in there, but I suggest a nation identified, right? Look at that episode. Email me and for further instructions on how we have to do it as a whole. We can't do it individually. This is something we have to do as a nation, and there's a legal criteria that will allow us to do that as a nation, right? And once you are aware of it, then we're gonna be all fine, and Bob, the father, will be home. Our president will be home. No worries. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how he's coming out, and he knows how he wants to come out. He's not coming out as an ex-con or someone who got pardoned or someone who, he's not doing it that way. He has a specific way that he wants to come home, and when God sets foot on this planet free, all eyes shall behold. And that's not a small thing. That's on a large scale with a huge nation of people backing him and protecting him the way that we all know that we should be doing it. So as a nation of people, it has to be done. There's certain methods of free work, right, that was done on an international scale that's being worked on right now. And once it's perfected, it will be presented, and you all will be able to partake of it. Every last person listening, It doesn't matter if you just if you just tuned in, if you've been a Sabian or Nuwapian or Nubian, part of the Nubian Nation since the 80s or since January 8th. It doesn't matter. You all are a part of the larger picture. It's not a seniority thing, because we all are one. We will be judged as one, and we all have to do it as one. And the one thing we do, the only thing we have to do one time together, the moment we do this one thing, one time, one together as unity, then we'll be successful. Nothing, we have done nothing together one time as a whole, as a nation. The only thing we did as a nation was vote, and we're going to do that again, and that's our right. And it's something that legally is necessary in order for us to protect our future. It's not anything that we have to ask permission to do. It's a legal process, and it's something that will be done this year. So no worries. Okay, so I appreciate that question. That's a very good question. What do you think about us living in the void? Expound on that question. So I don't know what you mean by the void. Maybe I do, but I don't want to misinterpret your question. Year 2000, what to expect? You have 3 years. Can you touch on the year 2030? Well, that's 3 years. Really 3 years and some in small amount, right? Because 2000 is less than a year before 2027. What the what the fathers is saying is that 2030 is the end of the hour, right? So that end of the hour, the end of the hour is 2030, from 1970 to 2030. 2030, you're supposed to be already prepared. You're supposed to be in place. Your nation is supposed to be built, and you're supposed to be ready for it to be lifted. That's what's supposed to happen in 2030. So, what you said on the planet, the devil's system is falling. They're killing each other. They're warring against each other. They've lost their minds. They've regressed back to a beast-like state. They've mixed in with animals. They've altered the food. They've altered genetics. They're trying to keep themselves alive. They're trying to alter their genes, live long, clone. All of that is for naught. They're going to try to go into space and live on Mars. They're going to try to mix in with the African race and other sub races to preserve their genes. They won't be able to do it. They're going to try to create biospheres where they can live artificially in artificial atmospheres and live in other side of on dark side of the moon, so they won't have to succumb to what's going to take place on the planet. They won't be able to do it. You all are the only ones that will be able to survive what's to take place, because you'll be protected by your overseers, your ancestors, right? Our deities, our gods, right? And so this is where we are, and that's what to expect in a nutshell. Is there some okay? There's some kind of resonance to your voice? Oh, thank you. I don't thank you, Min Kare. I appreciate that. I don't know if you're talking about me, maybe, but I appreciate that. Okay. Possible for yes. That's this is true, Min Kare. And that's something that I haven't shared, but I will share about what was given to me from the Father to help you all. That's my job, and so I do my best and teaching and giving what I need to give to you all in this channel. And I hope you share. Please share because authenticity is on the rise. I know you see AI is taking over, and right, he's AI and took over YouTube. It has took over the internet. You can't find anything real any longer. You can't find anyone authentic. Everyone is living in this fake world. Everyone has fake information, fake gossip, fake real lies, not fake lies. They have real lies, fake truth. What you see now is the regression of what they call information. They are regressing back to mumbo jumbo. And this channel, Actual Facts Podcast, what we're doing in the next few months, you're going to see a massive growth in the actual facts. Why? Because people are going to be looking for a human being to talk to. They're going to be looking for someone who is not programmed. to speak to. They're going to be looking for someone who has new information, right? Not that old stuff. If you notice, all of these guys, the moment we launched, which we did in perfect timing, all of the individuals who were had so much conscious community on lockdown, they were dropping heavy information and heavy this. All of them, where are they? They ran out of stuff to say. That's why it's the Father told us to get this out now, when his timing is the best timing, because they don't have anything else to say. They're waiting for this podcast, even though they may act like they're not listening. They may not subscribe. They may not share, but they are definitely tuning in, trying to mimic and build off of things that they're hearing. The thing about it is, we're going to stay far ahead because we want to make sure that they acknowledge that the Father is responsible for this affirmation. You can't duplicate dimensional shift. You can't come with your own twist because you don't know anything about dimensions. They don't know anything about time warps and gateways. They don't know anything about quantum physics. They haven't been taught that affirmation. Religious doctrine is limited, right? So when you come to these peace, route back divine alignment, when you come into these episodes and these lectures, you're getting authenticity. You're getting a real person, a real that walk with the Father, that's giving you the words of God, affirmation that no one, and I touched on very small amount of what has been given, not even a small amount, right? Maybe a few books in my lectures. I haven't touched on the vast amount of affirmation that the Father's given us, right? Because it's so much that I have content for the next 10 years. Literally, I have content for the next 10 years. Others have to create content. They have to create sensationalism. They have to create lies. They have to create things that make no sense. They have to use AI and distort images and create events of people and places to try to draw you in for click, and it's not fulfilling any longer. I know you, because if you feel how I feel when you're going through and you're like, what is this? It's nothing. They're talking about someone's heat on in a building and someone's relationship and how much money they own from a bankruptcy and the baby mama drama. That's you literally, you have to go to social media for that. So you can see that there's a group that will be moving, ascending, which we're talking about shifting into this next dimension consciously. And there's going to be those that are stuck. Don't get stuck with those people. And if you want to help those individuals in your circle, share this channel and let them know these questions are coming forth. Now, there's another question. Let me see. They always try and remix the work of the master. Exactly. There's a few more questions. Let me get to your questions, right? It says, hi, would you know why I keep picking up? It's 33 past. That's a good question. Look at 3 times 3. That's good. 3 times 3 is 9. So you may be on that ninth number. That may be a way of becoming in tune. I often pick up the phone at 9:09 when it's time to chant, and it happens. So 9 times 3, that's a good number. So look at those signs and move forward. Don't slow up. Y'all have to get into your chants. Talk to your ancestors. They're there. If you talk to them, something wrong with my sound? Someone says is my sound okay? Let me know if my sound is off. Whose sound is off? Please let me know. Put something in the group. I think it may be you, Astro Bliss, because no one else is complaining about the sound. Okay, yeah, maybe you, Astro Bliss. Thanks though for letting me know. Okay, they're always trying to remix. Yes. Okay, so any other questions? My sound is off? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, cool. Because they be playing with my sound, right? Oh, for those that I put up a video and they cut out 4 or 5 minutes. I think 8 minutes of the sound. I'm like, what? You left the ohm playing but took out my voice. It's okay though. I don't mind because I know certain things shouldn't, they don't want certain things out, and that's fine because yeah, there's no problem. There's great. Okay, so yeah, any other questions? This is great. I hope you all are enjoying the lectures. Okay, so let me give you a rundown of what's to take place for the next few months, right? I'm going to give you what to expect, the lectures. Now, on the 19th, we have a three-part series called The Destruction of Religion. These are the next three episodes, right? So the next three episodes, the destruction of religion. One is the dismantling of Islam and its ugly face. That's the title, the dismantling of Islam and its ugly face. Part two, the crucifixion of Christianity and the cross. We're going to address everything about Christianity and this Yahshua or Jesus character and how the being that we know as Rehar Akatwi, who has been raised by the Father, by His Excellency Dr. Malachi Z. York, right? In this day and time, we're going to address that being, and we're going to crucify Christianity, right? Why? Because the cross has to be broken. Christianity has to go. It is dead. It's old. It's outdated. Hasn't done anything for our people, and it is our job to eliminate it. And it's not going to stand after 2000. After that episode, you see, watch what I tell you. When I'm telling you these things, you see Christianity be wiped off the planet after we go through what we go through about it. This is just how it has to happen. Islam will be dismantled. When you listen to a Muslim, when you see a Muslim, you're going to realize how far back in the past they are, right? We're going to eliminate Islam. We're going to eliminate Christianity. And the third one is the blood-hungry Yahweh of the Hebrews and Jews. Bloodthirsty, blood-hungry, bloodthirsty Yahweh. We're going to make Yahweh be held. We're going to make him be held accountable, right? For his actions, for what he's done to the planet, for his introduction of hate and evil to the planet. We're going to hold him accountable for his destruction of human beings, for his lies that he's been teaching our race, right? We're going to get him out of the way. We're going to get Islam out of the way, and we're going to get the cross out of the way. And the deities, the divine beings, nine mind, sound right reasoning, deities of the practice, the science of Wusabat, the science of sound right reasoning, which you all are practicing. You all are practicing it naturally. Reasoning happens naturally. It's effortless, right? When you reason out, you can hear something, it makes sense. It's a no-brainer. Okay, so we're going to eliminate all of those religious doctrines, and we're going to address it word for word, verbatim, from start to finish. It may take some time, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be filled with affirmation. The Father has written over 1,000 books. The Father has written 1,000 books about these religious doctrines, and we're just going to bring it all the way around the board. So what's wrong with Islam? I'll check it out. Make sure you tune in. I hope you subbed Weather the Storm. You're not don't take anything personal. Another thing, when you listen to these episodes, these lectures, don't take anything personal. I tell my people all the time, these doctrines came before you. They were written before you were born. You don't have to defend them with your life because you're not responsible for the lies. I know it feels like an attack because a lot of people converted. A lot of people are into the books and they like, I want to worship. Who do we pray to? It's not your problem. You will convert it to these doctrines, right? And it's our job to eliminate the mess from you all's minds. And the only way that can be done is if we go into the words of the Father that came to right the wrong, the renewer, the reformer, right? So now when we go out into the world, right, which we're doing now, you can help your people be removed from these ignorant spellbinding religions that keeps them enslaved to other races. They don't know that. A lot of people they fight for it, and it's fine, because when they hear it, it jumbles them. It shakes their core, because if you've lived your life worshiping and looking at other books for your guidance and looking at other races for your guidance your entire life, and then someone says, no, that's the wrong, that's not actually factually, it's not actual facts, then people become, their foundation is shaken. So we have to make sure we replace it with the facts. And the facts are confirmable. The facts are confident. You can stand on the factual information. So we have to address those doctrines. Yes, it has to come down. It's falling down. So we don't want it to crash on your head. We don't want Islam, Christianity to fall on your head. You see what these preachers are doing. You see how ignorant they're getting with their con. They're letting you know they're con, and they're locking doors. I seen a preacher in Georgia lock the door on the congregation that made sure everyone gave him $1,000. They don't even care that it sounds ridiculous. They don't even care they're taking your money. They know it's about to fall, and they trying to pocket everything before it comes crumbling. Yes, we have a book called Is Haile Selassie Christ? That's why I said humble music. Get with the if I know you said you don't really know how to email or something of that nature, but if you can, the email is in the description. I'll be more than willing to get you all of the information that's needed. The Father didn't leave any stone unturned. He made sure every doctrine on the planet, he wrote a book about it, so those his children will be able to get clarity from the misinformation. Yes, nation identity to Free Baba. Check out that that episode. I love talking to y'all. Men Kare, what? What? Why you say what, Men Kare? What happened? So okay, so we have, okay, let me finish moving. So we have the destruction of religion, right? Then we have the mind, the holographic, multiversal supercomputer, the brain. That one is going to be incredible. I think you need to know about we have a lecture about the brain. Everything about the brain and how powerful, it's the most powerful machine in the world, in the universe. And is how it holographically works, right? And how it's responsible for the quantum transformation or transfer of information to information, how it works, the components of it, the sections of it, the functions of it. So you can really see the intricate details of it and how it was grown by reasoning. Your brain was grown by the power of reasoning, which is actually a being. In our science, it is a being, right? Reasoning. So that should be sometime in February. Then we may do part 2 of dimensional shifts, because we have to deal with the process of ascension, which is possible. So we have other topics that we have to address. So if we don't have any more questions, again, if you want to support, I think there's a way to, I don't see what's on your side, but it's a way where you can join or become a member. When you become a member, you actually step up your support for the Nubian Nation and what we're planning on doing. We have a lot of things coming, so much coming this year. This is a powerful year for us. And those that are on board early, I'm going to remember you. We're going to move fast. We're going to have a lot of unity. The devil system fall. We're going to be right in place. When the devil is out of our sight, the Father will be standing there, because this is what he came to do. He came to raise you all and give you the information. And I'm happy to be a part of the resurrection of our people. And I'm appreciative to our ancestors to be used as a tool to share this information with you and to have a platform such as the Actual Facts with authenticity, right? Authentic and authoritative affirmation that will rekindle your mind and make sure that you raise as a deity. And so it's all love. I shook to you all. If there's nothing else, I don't have any more. But again, for these publications, I'll just do it one more time. So for those that didn't see, we have these master secrets. Get this black dot, helix, mind linked, right? You like that camera. I like the camera zooms right in to the products. The Secret Tones and Maf Kuzet Elixir of Life, Master Secrets number 5. See that? These are the father's books here for those that look at that. Soon as there he is. You see, when you open, as soon as you open it up, it's just an amazing amount. Look at that. Science. Untouchable, irrefutable, right? That's what I was speaking about, your body being a tuning fork. He speaks about the monatomic elements, which is the Maf Kuzet. Yeah. So this is the secret tones. Then we have the ultimate reality. This is a master secret. This is very powerful. And they're not, some of them, they're not long. Some of them are not long, but they're filled with so much affirmation that one page is like, I could do a whole lecture on one page. Look at this. And one day we'll just go through and read through one for you all so you can see. Because I do a lot of lecturing and I try to cover a specific topic, but we had just Monday have a reading, right? Email. Bomb King, I'm telling you, you email me, the United Nubian Nation at Gmail, right? You check this out. Dimensional shift. This is incredible. This one, man. And I'm hype about it because every time I read it, I'll be like, okay, I got this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to build about. We must do the work. Check it out. Stargate, actual fact number 7. Oh, okay. I didn't speak on the Hawaiian Islands. I said I'll do another episode about it because I have to cover the history, and yeah, I'll have to cover history of the and then so we'll do it on a follow up when we do our vote because I want to include that because you asked me about that a few times. Earth Block, I haven't forgot you, so I got you. Okay, no worries. And this one, look at this. Tones, sound, DNA molecules, vibrational frequencies. Who's writing like this? Nobody. And these was written while he's in bondage. That's how powerful our God is. Just because they think, oh, the devil trapped him or whatever, he's like, nah. I came in so I can write these books for you all. That's the type of God we have. So all that other, yes, Yahweh and Allah, and he doesn't come forth to help. Our God sits down and writes. Let me show you a few more. 1 second. I'm showing some of these books off because I like the way this camera is capturing them. Look at this. Nuwapian Ontologist of Time. Actual Facts 13. So you can see that he's the most profound author on the planet. Look at this. The cycles. Actual Fact 240. This is 240. One series. So actual fact from one, this is 240. Look at this. The Akashic Records. Look how thick this is. This actually has, that's what I'm saying. You see that? This actually has 900, matter of fact, it's more than that. It's 1,062 verses. Look at this. Email me, Astro Bliss. Email me. I'll give you all the information you need to get the publications that you're looking for. I'll send you the book list. Look at this. Look at this. Come on. Who's writing like this? Diagrams. Book after page after page. Oh, I'm not done. This is the Master Secrets, Memat True Justice. Powerful. This is Natural Ether Energy. This number 25. Yes, email me. I'll give you all the answers. You got it, bro. Who's that? Jason Smith? Yes, email me. Look at this. Number 21, actual fact. Fatir al Akak Nashat, natural ether energy. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going for you. Oh, you think it's a joke? Look at this. Pahadayan, the guidance. Another actual fact. Look at this. You see that craft? That's the real deal. He's the real one. All these people still in his books, they don't do this. They read these books. You know what they do? They read these books and then come on their podcasts and come on their little shows and act like they heavy and try to build for views, but they don't give the father the credit. Look at this. I'm not done. Is Egyptian ontology or mythology? This actual fact number 30. Existence, how and why. Actual fact number 36. Oh, let me get you some more since we're on a roll. I'm going to pull out my others. Okay. Yeah. Y'all got a lot of reading to do. Yeah, you see it, right? This one. Who was the serpent in the garden? Chapter 3. Divide and conquer. Farouk Wu Galub. A nation of our own. We have a nation of our own. This may not sound important to y'all right now, but trust me, in a few months, it's going to hit you. You're going to say, I need to be in a nation of our own because whatever nation I'm a part is falling apart. This nation falling apart. I need our own nation. We have it. Let's keep going. Oh, we showed that one. This one. Sex, minds, and slaves. Look at that. Science. All outformation. Outformation. Not information. Outformation. It's a difference. Information is limited. You heard all the information you're going to get. You heard everybody talk as much information as they can. They don't have any more information to give you because outformation is here. The physical ethers. Pakatal akakat. Okay. I was saying what? Because you was talking about the preacher who kidnapped. Yeah, the preacher. He locked the door in the congregation. Look at this. Pa Anunnaki and the biblical and Quranic race. We went over this, a lot of this in episode 4. Episode 4 got like 37,000 views. It took off. It's a real powerful episode. Check it out when you can. The ham seed. Should I keep going? Ham seed. Actual fact number. This number 3. I appreciate that, RT Ellis. Thank you for that contribution and becoming a member and support. You all can do that if you just want to support for what you're hearing and appreciate the room, appreciate the channel. You can become a member or support any way that you choose. $5 or $2. It goes towards the mission. The jewels of my divine eyes. This is Master Secrets number 11. Facts. Patankas, salvation. I can go on and on. Do you see? Okay, let me just do it. So you bloodlust and religion. This is very good. For those that want to know how bloodlust has been introduced into religion and how the sacrifices of Yahweh is animals and human beings, get out of those religious doctrines. They're just trapped by way of religion. You're trapped by way of religion. This is available. Habes B Za'am, sorry. Trapped by way of religion. Pasawab, the truth, master secret, actual fact. This is Kabir Kadam. Look at this right here. Let me show you this one. This scientists right now are trying to get their hands on this because look at the affirmation and look at that. Pleiades. Oh man, so much information in here. You could read this for 3 months and still won't finish it. What else? Factology of time. We did this episode on time a few weeks ago. Science of the pyramids also. Birth of Earth and the Matrix. Intelligent design. Divine design, the plot of aliens. Man. Look at this. Supreme beings, melaninite race. Email me, Ricardo. Don't worry about it. It's not unfortunate because we have the books are available. Kathor Ranan at many names. Yeah, so you see, right? Oh, man, I didn't even do these. Oh, man, hold on. Lotus of Life. It's so many. I can go on and on. Yes, right? So, yeah, so email. And so the next lecture is, of course, we're going to address the religious doctrine. I hope this is clear. I just went through this dimensional shift just to kind of wake people up to prepare for this year and their year, this year coming forward, so we can continue to do what we need to do. Oh yeah, this is divine feminine right here, the lotus of life, right? Look at this. So much. This is one of the longest. This book got so much information. You see the print. So this is a science book, genetic book. This is the pine cone, which is symbolic of the third eye, right? The two halves of the brain. We discussed this in Secrets of the Sacred Feminine. I touched on this in Secrets of the Sacred Feminine, Zamaltat, Astro Bliss, right? Yeah, so this is available as well. If you look at the previous episode, I did a 3-part series on the feminine. So you can get a lot of that. I hope you saw it. If you've seen it, let me know. If not, check it out. The previous episodes. A lot of these books I went over in previous episodes. Look at this. All of this is on the feminine, and there's other patarak on the feminine too. All science, genetics, chromosomes, DNA. The father is. It's so many words to describe this being. He's just amazing on all levels. So yeah, let me hold on 1 second. Yeah, so the father is just an amazing, like, I can do this literally. I can talk all day because of the affirmation. So much affirmation he's blessed us with. And I feel like it's a duty for you all to get it, because once you see what's in it, you'll just be amazed. Because you hear a lot about Dr. Malachi Z. York. You hear a lot about the father. You hear me speaking about him. and you may not be in a place where you can get to a bookstore or get to a class. It's a lot of people in the world, billions of people. And so thankfully we have this platform where you can get introduced to the affirmation. So I just do my best. So thank you. Tawel Tech, Tawel Kum. Any questions? Any other questions? I've been off for a few weeks. Gangster's Paradise book 2. The healing is in the reading. This, yes, yes. Appreciate you. So again, share. All I'm asking you all to do is share the lectures. If you enjoy a lecture, we have 10 episodes now. Share the email, anyone that needs any publications. We're now building. We're going to have some freedom fighting updates very soon. So make sure it's going to be exclusive, directly from the Father, directly from the Heavenly One, from him to me to you. This is how the information is going to come, right? For his freedom, for our future, everything will be laid out for us as a nation. So again, tune in on the 19th for the destruction of religion, the dismantling of Islam. Invite your Muslim brothers and sisters. We're going to address the Quran, Muhammad, his life story, all of those things. Love you all, love you all, love you all. Appreciate you tuning in. And that will conclude this lecture. What's the next lesson you're going to teach? Okay, so again, it's the destruction of religion. It's a 3-part series. So on the 19th, so tune in. It's called The Dismantling of Islam and Its Ugly Face. All right? So we can get our people out of that ridiculous Arab stronghold religious doctrine. They got our people. I'll answer that on the next episode. All right? 2030, 2000 wise words. I'll answer that on the next episode. Save some of that good affirmation for then. All right? So I appreciate you. Take care. Enjoy your evening. And make sure you share this so we always can go viral with the Father's affirmation. If anything goes viral, his word should go. All right? So take care. Appreciate you all. Wadu.